Hello everybody, welcome back to the Frayed Brush. I'm Big Aaron. It's been a minute since I've done since I did my last video, finishing up, showing off the Shield Maiden. Not too much painting going on since then. A little bit here and there, nothing. Sat down, concentrated for, 2-3 hours until here recently. And I started working on my Iceman print from Malik's 3 Design. I'll link his website below, and I'm also a member of his Patreon, so you might want to check that out. He's got some great stuff if you're able to print. What I have been working on is the face, or the head. So far, got some shadows in there. Haven't really worked on any highlights or anything yet, but I got the head to a good point where I could start working on other stuff, and that way towards the end kind of bring everything together as far as lighting goes. So got that done. And then here is the upper torso, and this is it's a 3D print. I printed this out on my Elegoo Mars Pro 2. Great print. There is some stuff I have to clean up. There's a divot right there in the shoulder where I kind of busted it out doing a support, and there's some miscellaneous pock marks and stuff to fill in, throughout his back and stuff. But other than that, a great sculpt. I don't think my camera can get in on the detail of this. We can try. I guess it will. Look at the different textures that are molded into this. I mean, the stitching lines, everything. And I mean, this isn't necessarily huge. I mean, there's my thumb, but I mean, it's got some great detail to it. I got a couple products to tell you about this video. So that's that. We'll come back to this in just a minute. Let me zoom back out here a little bit. Okay, so first thing is, for the 3D prints, I found these online and got them. And these are foam sanding strips, and these actually aren't like highlighted or anything, but you can tell from my painting lights, it shows the different grits. And I've got from 180 to 2500. And these are kind of cool because they're actually like foam sanding sticks, but they come in different thicknesses to be able to, I think there's a 5, a 3, and I don't know, maybe that's 3, 5, 7, maybe, I don't know. But they're really nice. I mean, they're good foam. They're bendy and everything. And I'd always had a hard time with layer lines in my prints, and not an easy way to get rid of them. And I've had a couple things brought to light on how to achieve the smoothness. One of them was those sanding sticks. I actually got those from watching a Gundam painting website, or a Gundam painting YouTube channel. The guy was showing his finishing process and everything, and it was really, really great. And then I don't have my adhesive backed sanding things, but there's also these. It has some carbon fiber ones, and then some aluminum ones. And basically there's adhesive sanding paper, pretty much in the same grits as the sponge, that you stick to this, and this basically turns into your sanding block. And there's the company. It's Dspiae. I don't know how to pronounce it, but there it is. You can see right there, aluminum alloy sanding board. And basically you just stick your sandpaper to it, sand whatever you need to sand, take your sandpaper off, and then, go on to the next grade or finish it up if you need to. They had the aluminum ones, and then I went through an off-brand through Amazon and got the carbon fiber ones, and I don't know what that says. I don't know, I've got one kid in Korea right now and one kid in Japan, so maybe they'll learn the language and be able to read that to me. But there's those, so that was good. Now, the biggie. I have discovered something that is changing my painting game, okay? And let me readjust some stuff here. Make sure it doesn't get all crazy and everything in the camera. But I'm gonna swing my camera around and I'm gonna show you what I have found. Now, I've had these for a while. Those, right there, that little rack of paints, okay? Those are Monument Pro Krill paints, okay? They come in these bottles, all right? Now, there are most other brands out there, but I'm not gonna go into names. Most other brands out there offer a 15 to a 17 mil bottle for anywhere from $3.50 to $6 a bottle. And like your Game W paints, oops, I said I wasn't gonna say no names. Your Citadel paints, you know, they come in like a 12 mil pot. And I was actually at I'm president of a model club, and we were having our meeting a couple weeks back, and I was gonna pick up some of the contrast colors that I was missing because I'm a completionist, you know, so if I have one from a set, I wanna have all of them. And those bottles were like $7 a piece. And they're not large bottles if you've seen, you know, Games Workshop, the Citadel colors. So I said no on those. But Monument Pro Krill, okay? This is a 20 mil bottle for, I think it averages out to $3.50 a bottle. Now, I've had these for a while. Never had actually used them really. But I decided that on this Iceman, you know, I was going to start branching out and, you know, using some other paints that I'd never used and everything. Because up until this point, I was diehard Reaper Master Series paints. Oh, and we'll get to that. We'll get to Reaper in a second, if I remember. So I sat down, I said, you know what? I'm going to use my Monument Pro Krills. Now, one mistake I had made back early on in my painting career was, and I think I've got a couple I can show you on, but I had started using BBs to keep my paints mixed up because I didn't know any better. Well, BBs rust and they contaminate your paint and they throw off the color and they throw extra pigments in there from, not pigments, I guess it would be just metal from the rust. And every bottle I had done did that. Well, I had attempted multiple paint brands and the same thing happened. So I slowly started, you know, changing out my bad paints for good paints. And I'd ordered me some Monument Pro Krills, got them in, you know, was able to dispose of the ruined paint and able to really get down to business and start using them. And I have to say, I love them. They have, like I said before, they've changed my painting game. I haven't really gotten a chance to use their transparents yet. I haven't run into a situation where I need to use those consistently. This guy's head's been painted like 6 times, like completely. And that shows you how far you can thin down their paints because this has been thin. This has been painted like 6 times and you can still see the grooves between his teeth and the separation in his tongue, in the middle of his tongue. You can see it there a little bit. But there you go. They can be thinned down like crazy, and I absolutely love them. Like, no joke. I sat down, had my wet palette, put the first drop of paint from the Monument Pro Krill line on there, swished around a little bit, and it was like, boom, perfect, ready to go, smooth layer, good coverage, and they've been just amazing. And I've shown my painting room on video before, and I have over 1,200 bottles of paint, okay? That little rack I just showed you could potentially replace all those other bottles of paint. The only other thing I've used that's not Monument Pro Krill on this model so far is this. This is the only color, a Marth Blue from Fantasy and Games, a scale color. And that's because this turned out to be a better blue to do like glowing eyes with. And that's just because I didn't want to mix my own. I'm fairly certain there's no color in the world that you could come up with that you can't figure out through the Monument Pro Krill paints. They are absolutely amazing. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to go ahead, and the only flesh showing on this guy is his head, all right, his hands, and his feet, okay? That's it, that's the only skin. So really easy to figure out and line up the skin tones and everything. But what I wanted to do first was I wanted to take some of the Monument Pro Krill Gray Blue, which is what I've been using my base coat for the skins. And we're gonna go ahead and lay some down on top of this black primer, see how it turns out. All right, and then what we'll do, we'll crack open the airbrush, and we will try to push some of these Monument Pro Krills through, because I'm gonna use a different color on the suit. So we'll see how the suit goes. But no great big painting process on this or anything. We're just gonna lay some down. Oop, my wet pallet's drying out a little bit. All right. So we've got our gray blue. Now, keep in mind through this, there's absolutely nothing that I've come across that covers solid black other than solid black. So you're 10 times out of 10 gonna need a second coat. So don't be surprised when this just isn't like finished painting with one coat. So get a couple drops out here. And that's another thing too. I love these bottles. They're like the old Elmer's glue bottles, okay? So no clogged up tip or anything like that. So we'll use our Winsor & Newton size 3, okay? And I mean, if anybody from Monument's watching this, I would not object to receiving some brushes to try out. I mean, I'm just saying. So get this off here a little bit. Just smush it down on that wet palette a little bit, all right? I want to clean out our brush because we want to use the slightly thinned paint by itself rather than mixing in the full strength paint where we got a little drop out of the pile. So where'd be the best place to start? We'll start over here. Okay. Now, the reason this is beating up a little bit is because of my primer. I used the 2X Rust-Oleum flat black, simply because to me, that's what covers up the 3D prints better. Man, I really should have glued this a different way. This is a really odd angle. But I mean, you could tell the coverage you're getting from that, and that's actually with, you know, a little bit of water in it. And these paints dry super matte. And, you know, as miniature painters, you know, you want, for the most part, under normal circumstances, you want your paint as matte as possible. So But you can tell how good that's covering. I mean, that is covering great. And it's covering great. And actually, you know, between my brush being wet and, you know, being on the wet palette, you know, this is some fairly thin down paint, honestly. And just for the record, you know, I'm not sponsored by anybody. All my products I buy on my own, I use, so which gives me the latitude to, you know, review them how I want and not worry about, you know, me being affected by a company. So that's good. But look how great that's covering. And that's over. You see it. Here's the other hand. Solid black. And look how great that's covering. All right. So without turning this into a 6-hour video, we'll call it on the hand right now. Okay. And what we'll do is the model's chest armor, was shirt, I guess. I don't know if I'd really consider it armor. Came out pretty perfect in the print process. So there was nothing to do on the chest. But just to go over airbrushing these Pro Krill a little bit, we're going to take some of the dark blue, and I don't know how well it'll show up, but we're going to try. But we're going to try to do some shadows, you know, coming from the bottom of his armor with the dark blue, and see how well it lays down with the airbrush. So I've got my Pro Krill blue, I've got my airbrush thinner, I got my airbrush. All right, so get that out of the way, and we'll get old Krusty here. Actually, you know what? We won't. Let's grab a pipette real quick. Okay, here we go. So I watched a video by Vince Venturell on airbrushing Monument Pro Krills before. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was doing more of a glazing, maybe. He went pretty heavy on the thinner. So we're gonna start with that, just so we can kind of see how it's gonna shoot through. So let's do 20 drops of thinner. And because this is a dark color, it should be be able to thin down fairly well. So we'll do 20 drops of thinner, and we'll do, let's see, we'll do 3 drops of paint. 1, 2, 3. All right. And clean that off. Now we'll take our little pipette here and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this is going to be as dark as I need, but we're just getting it shot through the airbrush here anyway, just to see how it looks. And then that's pretty great so far. So let's see what we get here. I'm liking it so far. Again, I don't know if you can see that hard line. You can't, but anyway, there's a little bit of a hard line, and it's really from the primer. I'm fairly certain I put the primer on way too thick. So let's dry this off a little bit. And we'll let's hit it again. And the reason we're only hitting it from the bottom is because that's where the darkest part of the suit's gonna be. So let's dry it off. I want it to be a little bit more pronounced. I want you to really be able to tell the bottom of that suit's blue, or the suit is blue, especially the shadows. So, and I'm not worried about the jacket or anything like that, because the jacket has some imperfections in it that I need to take care of. All right, that's some actually really good shading right there. So we'll dry this off, and then I'll see if I can show you how well that laid down, because it laid down really well. Now I did mention that they dry really matte. Okay, however, with the addition of the airbrush thinner, it's not going to be as matte as putting it on with a brush. Okay, so there is some finish difference between what's brushed on and what's airbrushed on, but that's because of added chemicals, not the paint. So here's what we're going to do. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here is the top of the chest. Okay, then you flip it around. Okay, there's the bottom. Look how smooth that laid down with the airbrush. I mean, that is magnificent. All right. So here's been for a little project update. So we're working on the Iceman now. Okay. Reaper. Not going to ReaperCon this year. Decided against it. Wife wanted me to go, but some other things I wanted to get squared away first. No big deal. ReaperCon's gonna be here next year. So what am I doing with the Shield Maiden, since it was painted for ReaperCon? Little Rock, Arkansas, thereabouts, I think, is doing a contest, I think September 25th. So wife and I might hop in the car, head over that way, and throw the Shield Maiden in that contest over there. So I guess that's it for now. I'm gonna put the website link to Monument Hobbies in the website, or in the comments below. I'll put the link to their Twitch in the comments below, or in the description section. So if you decide to go over there, let them know that Frayed Brush sent you over. I guess that's it for now. Please remember, if you enjoyed the video, to like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and hit that bell icon to receive notifications when another video is put out. Hope everybody has a great day. And remember, if anybody asks you, Big Aaron sent you.